Bayley, considered by many to be the 2015 Superstar of the Year, and now considered by many to be the biggest bust from NXT. When she first came on the main roster, she was pushed like nobody else, constantly squashing people. She was basically a tiny version of Braun Strowman, and even won the Raw Women's Championship and ended Charlotte's singles match pay-per-view win streak. But NXT gimmick has kind of worn out, and now she will either be known as a cautionary tale to NXT stars staying with their old gimmick, or she can be rebranded and fixed, much like Breezango has been, and have much more success down the road, and not just be a memory of NXT past. This is how I would fix Bayley. First off, take the Corey Graves angle and get him out of it. You do not need an announcer breaking up tag teams or getting in romantic storylines with a wrestler. He's an announcer now. He should just be focused on announcing and just, you shouldn't have announcers in your storyline. That's why I don't like Michael Cole turning heel, because your main announcer, who's going to be the voice of your company, should not be saying, oh, I don't like that guy, I don't like this guy. He should be calling moments and focusing in the ring rather than talking about The Miz. And, you shouldn't humiliate your lead announcer like you did with JR. Anyway, I would replace Corey Graves with an old NXT star, someone who was also very popular but has since fallen off the wagon. And, who has kind of had a relationship with her, who's been seen at live shows copying each other's entrance. And yes, I know who I'm talking about. No Way Jose. Obviously it's him, future world I'm sorry, it's Finn Balor. He's fallen off the wagon, and to be involved in any kind of storyline now would be good. Who is he even? I think he's with Elias Sampson. I think he's with The Miz. I think there's like a thing going on with Bray and Seth. I don't know. Raw's in just disarray. Anyway, so on the road, I don't want her to do anything at Great Balls of Fire. She needs a break from pay-per-views. She needs to stick with her thing, and she just needs to lose over and over and over and over again. Just lose every week on Raw. And, have Stephanie McMahon be the one behind the Kurt Angle tags. So when she comes back, she can say, oh, you're not, and have another WWE draft after SummerSlam. So she can say, Bayley, you're nothing. Bayley, you aren't anything. I hope that SmackDown takes you so you can stop degrading the people on Raw. Kind of like the whole Just Bayley thing. But I don't want Bayley to go, Stephanie McMahon doesn't like me, I'm going to put Just Bayley on my jacket. No, when she says she's Just Bayley, I want Bayley to lose it. Just attack Stephanie McMahon as viciously as she can to have the females have her get off her, but have Bayley beat up the Raw women so that the referees and even security guards have to get her off of her, and then have Bayley fired later that night, and go to SmackDown and say, oh, I don't like Raw, I don't want to have anything to do with Raw, compete in a SmackDown Live match and win. So next week on Raw, like the very next Raw, she can show up in the crowd during a Stephanie McMahon promo and have Stephanie McMahon say, hey, get her out of there, she's not on Raw anymore. But then when security gets her, show her her ticket. Have Bayley show them her ticket so security can't do anything. And right next to her, the SmackDown Live Commissioner and the SmackDown Live GM, Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan, just to make sure the security doesn't get to her. So, in the middle of the Stephanie McMahon promo, she just goes back to the audience, but she pauses. Looks back over at Bayley. Continues for a little bit, but stop. And she's like, Bayley, I can't believe what you did to me. I want you back on Raw. I've rehired you since technically you do not have a SmackDown Live contract. So you are now back on Monday Night Raw. Bayley is just so ashamed, and Stephanie McMahon gets out of the ring. I'm going to make your life a living hell. Puts the microphone down, slaps Bayley as hard as she can. Starts walking, Bayley jumps over, pow, 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 pow. Just beating her, Stephanie McMahon mercilessly. Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon's like, oh well. And then security again gets her off. Next week, she's put in a match with the #1 contender to the Raw Women's Championship, Nia Jax. Nia Jax just completely gives it to her. Serves her butt on a silver platter. Like, Bayley just gets wrecked. And then after she loses, Stephanie McMahon comes down to the ring, takes Bayley, says, "You're nothing. You're worthless. You're not even just Bayley. You're just a loser." Slaps Bayley. Slaps her again. Slaps her. Slaps her. Slaps her. Until, how many slaps that one? On the next slap, Bayley catches her hand and goes like this with Stephanie's own hand. Slaps her, and then Bayley gets up, slaps her, gets out of the ring, she leaves. And then, I guess you can tell where I'm going. A match at SummerSlam against Stephanie McMahon. Loser leaves Raw. If Stephanie McMahon loses, she leaves Raw. She's no longer the acting commissioner, and Kurt Angle takes over as the sole commissioner. No GM, I guess. Well, if you want to have a GM, you can have a GM, but Kurt Angle is a commissioner. Bayley absolutely wrecks Stephanie McMahon. I want it to be a squash match. Stephanie McMahon can't even get in any offense. She tries going for the pedigree. Bayley gets out of her. I want Bayley to just... It's going to be a drawn-out squash match. Just Bayley refusing to pin her because she wants to exact more pain until Stephanie McMahon clutches the ref, throws the ref in front of her, rolls out, and runs away. The ref counts her out. Now, and so Stephanie McMahon loses. She's gone from Raw. The next night, oh, by the way, I want her to still, for now, keep the entrance, keep all the colors, and keep the inflatable armband, but she doesn't react. She just looks up, nods, and like she's nodding to them, and she just walks. And I want her to get rid of those awful, awful tights. I want her to get black pants, black bra, and just, I don't know, maybe have like the inflatable men like coming up on her legs as some kind of design. And I just want her in the middle of the on the next night during her promo, the background's changed. It's Bayley. New song, new entrance, not as colorful. She's not as colorful. No side ponytail. She takes that out during the match with Stephanie McMahon and throws it in her face and spits in her face. I know it's not PG. Spitting's not PG, but anyway, I just want it done. So she comes out and says, she kind of has an awesome 316 promo. I watched, and then she gives all the people, like, she mentions China, she mentions Jacqueline, and how they've just beaten women on the roster and put them on notice. And now, people will remember me in that list of women. Every woman on the Raw roster, new and old, because, you know, there's a draft that night. You better watch out, because it doesn't matter whether you get cheered by the crowd or booed by the crowd. It doesn't matter if you're my friend or enemy. I'm coming for you. And when I'm done with you, I'm coming for you, Nia Jax, for the Raw Women's Championship. Drops the mic, gets out of the ring. And then later in the night, there's a backstage segment with Alicia Fox and Noam Dar saying, "I don't care what Bayley says. I want her in the ring next week." And you can kind of see her calling out Bayley as you just see Bayley come around the corner, walk, and then the interviewer says, "What would you say if she was right behind you?" And then she says, "Oh, I would tell her she's nothing and I'm going to beat her next week, no problem." Bayley just taps her on the shoulder. Alicia looks around, she's shocked. Bayley just hits Alicia, hits Noam, throws Noam out of the way, just brutalizes Alicia Fox and gets up and just leaves and calls the interviewer over. When she wakes up, tell her I've accepted her challenge, and just walks away, and the camera just pans down to her, just Alicia Fox, just not even selling, she's just knocked out. Next week, Bayley just squash matched on Alicia, and it basically goes like this, and, you know, she starts catching feelings for Finn Balor. She starts saying, you know, Finn Balor, mid-interview with Bayley, says, "Hey, Bayley, he's Irish. I want to be a I'll be watching your match out there just to see how it is, and you know, against Alicia. So when Noam Dar tries to attack Bayley, and Bayley blocks him because, you know, trying to make a Monster Bayley, Alicia just blindsides Bayley and starts beating her down. Finn's music hits. He runs down. Like, you know that running dropkick he does? Running drop kicks Noam out of the ring. Then separates Alicia from Bayley, helps Bayley up. Bayley pushes him out of the way. Bam! No, actually, you know what? Bayley to belly. Alicia's out, rolls out of the ring. And then, you know, they're kind of looking at each other like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, you like me now? So they start kind of getting together. And also, Sasha's in the background of this until the next week before the last Raw before Clash of Champions. It's revealed by insert NXT call up here. You know, he got called up to Raw from the draft, and you know he's a babyface. He says, "Hey, Sasha, I know those short pants you're wearing, because you know she always wears short pants to the ring now, but I'm not complaining." Anyway, and she's like, you know, you left your phone backstage, and you know, you should probably put a passcode on your phone. Pulls his phone out of his pocket and opens it, go to the text message, and starts reading text messages between Sasha and Finn, and they get more and more, you know, trying to think of the word, sexual, and you know, it's, hey, why don't you come over tonight? Oh, I'm gonna be with Bayley. Oh, just tell her you're sick or something and come see me. And then after reading some text, he's like, you know, I would continue going, but there's some images going back and forth that don't belong on PG programming. Puts the phone back in his pocket, you know, kind of, you know, calling out the leaks lately. And then Bayley just looks at Finn, starts crying, slaps him, looks at Sasha, attacks her, and then Finn can't do anything because, you know, it's two women fighting, so he's like, you know, can't really do anything, so he just leaves. And then after Sasha's knocked out, she just leaves, and she walks past the NXT guy, and he just puts her arm around her and walks away. Match is made for Clash of Champions, a mixed tag match between Bayley and the babyface guy versus Sasha and Finn. Bayley and Finn and the other guy don't even get in the match because it's starting out Bayley and Sasha. Bayley just wrecks Sasha. Bayley to belly. Bayley to belly. 2 in a row. 1, 2, 3. It's over. And then, you know, the Sasha, Finn, Bayley thing kind of ensues. Finn and the other guy fall into the background to have their match at Hell in a Cell. Where Bayley and Sasha have a Hell in a Cell match. So, Bayley doesn't even use the cell. She just wrecks her. Well, she does. She, like, throws her into the cell, gets a steel chair. She hesitates for a little bit, goes like this, but then Sasha kicks her. Steel chair hits her face. Sasha hits her with a couple times. Puts her in the bank statement. Bayley reverses. Bayley to belly. Takes the steel chair. She's not done. Just bending the steel chair over Sasha Banks. And then puts her on the top rope. Top rope Bayley to belly. 1, 2, picks her shoulder up. And she's like, I'm not done yet. Gets another steel chair. Wham! 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 Just bends that one over. Bayley to belly. Picks her back up. Bayley to belly. Hooks her leg. 1, 2, 3. It's over. Bayley wins. And, you know, meanwhile, on the road to Hell in a Cell, she's getting some of the lesser Raw women talent on there and just beats them in squash matches, getting ready for Sasha Banks. On the road to Survivor Series, she's like, I will beat every woman in the on the Raw side so they know who's truly superior. And then Carmel's like, whoa, 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 whoa. You guys need to remain a team. You guys cannot turn on each other, so you are not allowed to physically harm each other until the Survivor Series match is ended. And Bayley's like, okay. So, you know, it's 2 to 3 left. Raw's kind of losing. Bayley gets tagged in for the first time all night. Bayley gets the first woman. Bayley to belly. Picks her back up. Bayley to belly. 1, 2, 3. Runs over to the SmackDown women's side because they're still deciding, oh, I don't want to go with Bayley. No, you have to go with Bayley because they're both scared of Bayley. Everyone's scared of Bayley now. She picks up someone, let's say Charlotte, and just slams her on the side and just continually beats her. Becky goes to come in, save Charlotte, but she's too scared of Bayley, so she just stands on the apron and she's just beating her. Meanwhile, Charlotte's like, Becky, like, you know, getting her hair pulled. Bayley's getting dirty now. She's like, Becky, help me, help me. Like, she's crying out to Becky in pain, and Becky just turns her back on Charlotte. And this can set up a feud for TLC between Charlotte and Becky. And just Bayley picks her up, Bayley to belly. 1, 2, 3, it's done. Becky goes like this, shocked. And then Bayley goes to beat her up, but she wants to savor this. She's like, come on in. Becky comes in, you know, she gets a straight fire comeback. Bayley catches her with a Bayley to belly, picks her back up, Bayley to belly, throws her to the other side, does this thing as like a little reference, and then does like the whatever she does after this into the corner. And then 1, 2, 3, it's over. Raw women win. All the 3 other women that were eliminated come back out and they're celebrating with her, and they're like, yeah, we won, Raw women rule. And then when they put her back down, Bayley to belly, Bayley to belly, Bayley to belly, Bayley to belly. On all 4 women, each woman gets Bayley to belly. Picks up the microphone, the Survivor Series match has ended, and now, get ready for hell to unleash. Drops the mic. Next night, beats one of the women, beats another woman, beats another woman, and she saves Alexa Bliss for last. Each week after she beats someone, she goes, Alexa Bliss, you took the Raw Women's Championship from me. Now, be prepared to pay. And Alexa Bliss knows she's coming for her. She tries to leave. Bayley just she's driving away with the car. And, you know, she's scared, but then the door won't open. Like, you know how they have, like, the pull-away door? And it won't open. All of a sudden, there's a sledgehammer just, bam! The driver's side window breaks. Bayley gets the glass out of the way, pulls Alexa through the broken glass. She doesn't even open the door. She just unbuckles the seatbelt, takes her out, and just attacks her all over backstage, using whatever she can find to punish Alexa Bliss until security gets her off her. The match is made. Alexa Bliss versus Bayley. Falls count anywhere, no holds barred. The match doesn't even get out of the match kind of gets out of the ring until the very end, but it doesn't until the very end, because Bayley just beats down Alexa Bliss and then goes to the outside, chooses a weapon carefully. She's being very psychological. She wants the pain to just rise with each weapon she uses. Meanwhile, Alexa Bliss gets back up, tries to do something to Bayley, but no, Bayley just hits her over the head with whatever and just continually brutalizes her. Drags her by her hair out of the ring and just throws her out. Bayley goes out of the ring, takes the table off, Bayley to belly through the table. No, Bayley to belly on the table. It's not enough to break it. She goes to the top rope, jumps, you know, the little Macho Man elbow she does so bad, does it through the table, picks her back by her hair, rolls her in the ring, gets in the ring, picks her back up, Bayley to belly, just, oh, and whenever I say Bayley to belly, it's not like the thing where she's just, like, a little cute thing. No, I want Bayley to pick up whatever woman she has and just, bam, like a modified spine buster, just slams the crap out of them on the ring mat, and just 1, 2, 3, that's it. That's why Bayley to belly is going to be so devastating, because she's just picking them up, slamming them down. Like, not kayfabe as hard as she can, like, as hard as Pamela Garcia, I think that's her name, Pamela Garcia can. Anyway, so then, going into the Royal Rumble, she says, I will not be in the Royal Rumble match, the Women's Royal Rumble match. I will challenge Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship. Why? Because no one can stop me. If you have a problem and think you deserve the women's title more than I can, come out right now and tell me why. She just waits, looking down at the ring for a full minute. No one comes out. Picks up the microphone back up. See, that's why. Nia Jax, I'll see you in Houston, I think, is the Royal Rumble. I'll see you in Houston. and she tells Kurt Angle she's going away to train for Nia Jax. She's beaten her once before back in London. She'll beat her again in Houston. So she trains. She doesn't show up on TV except for weekly weekly video packages. It just shows her training harder than she ever can. I want to see how jacked she can get before her match with Nia Jax. It won't be that much because it's like, what, 6 weeks? But, you know, I wanted to build up her strength because I wanted to give a Bayley to belly to Nia Jax. So at Roman Rumble, she's doing everything she can. Nia Jax won't get off her feet. She tries to pick her up. Nia Jax stops her, hits her in the head, and just Nia Jax, after Bayley just attacks Nia Jax for 10 straight minutes. Nia Jax going on her back like twice, maybe 3 times. Getting her in the corner a lot, just punching her. Like, I don't want Bayley to, like, be a technician and, like, oh, I got her arm, oh, I got her head. No, I want her to just beat on Nia Jax, kicking her knees, more punches. And, excuse me, jeez, I hope I'm not getting sick. But Nia Jax, just 2-minute squash match after Bayley does so much brutalization. 2 straight leg drops onto Bayley. You want 1 regular leg drop and then 1 from the second rope. Leg drop onto Bayley. 1, 2, 3. Bayley has been beaten for the first time since SummerSlam. And I wanted to be like kind of Shawn Michaels getting eliminated from the Royal Rumble back in 2010. Like, she's what? Tries to fight Nia Jax again, but the ref's like, no, it's over. You lost. Get out of the ring. Raises Nia Jax's hand. Bayley starts to cry. Gets out of the ring. Cries all the way up the ramp because, you know, I don't want her to completely change herself. And then at the Elimination Chamber, she just brutally, the Raw after Rumble, she just attacks Nia Jax as hard as she can. But Nia Jax just takes her, throws her through that little backstage interview setup. Bayley's done for the night. 2 weeks later, she comes back and says, I will be in the Elimination Chamber match. Kurt Angle, put me in a match with any woman in the Elimination Chamber match, and I will beat them. Because, you know, the Elimination Chamber has already been announced, because, you know, she was out. I didn't know how long she was going to be out for. She had a concussion. Kayfabe concussion. She comes back 1 week early. I passed the test. Put me in a match with anyone. Put me in a match with all of them. And even put me in a match with all of them. Kurt Angle says, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Oh, give me a match for one of them? No. I'm going to give you a match with all of them. And so she has to run a gauntlet in one night. Beats all of them clean except Nia Jax. I'm going to save Nia Jax. It's just the 5 women. And she gets... And he decides, I'll switch you out with the person you beat the fastest. Carmella, who's a heel now. And, you know... No, not Carmella. I'd rather have Big Cass go to SmackDown than Carmella come to Raw. Anyway, I'll switch you out with Alexa Bliss. You know, you beat her at Roadblock, you know, because there's still she still has some unfinished business with Sasha, she feels like. So just, she's like, okay, Alexa Bliss, that's fine. You know, so she can kind of squash Alicia Fox and who not. Whatever. She can squash Alicia Fox and Mickie James and have, you know, her main thing be Sasha and Nia Jax coming into the Elimination Chamber. She beats everyone. She's the first entrant in, and she's the last to leave. And she doesn't win the match, you know. She loses, but just barely to Nia Jax. After eliminating 4 straight women, she gets pummeled by Nia Jax. 1, 2, 3. That's it. And she's just crying in the Elimination Chamber again. And just, I want her to sit in the middle of the chamber. Nia Jax has already celebrated, had her hand raised, left, and I just want it to fade to black, you know, so they can, like, advertise the network or whatever. And she's just sitting there crying, sobbing in the middle of the Elimination Chamber. I know Elimination Chamber SmackDown, but, you know, I need it for Raw for this story. Anyway, on to women, another Fatal 4-Way, maybe a 6-pack challenge. Again, she pins everyone except Nia Jax. She tries to cheat, it's not enough. She gets blocked by Nia Jax, and, you know... 1, 2, 3. Bayley has lost 3 straight pay-per-views after going on an amazing win streak. Kurt Angle, you have nothing to be sad about, Bayley. I think I'm gonna put you on SmackDown in a backstage segment. I think I'm gonna put you on SmackDown so you could go conquer over there and see if you can win the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. And she's like, no, starts threatening Kurt Angle. If you don't keep me on Raw, I will make your life a living hell. You saw what I'm able to do with Nia Jax. I may not be able to beat her, I may not be able to beat you, but I will sure as heck try. Because you know she's still PG Bayley. I'll sure as heck try to beat the crap out of you every single week. And he's like, okay, Bayley, okay. Because even Kurt Angle's scared of her because she saw what she could do to Nia Jax. And, you know, he's kind of getting old even though he's an Olympic gold medalist. And, you know, he's the commissioner. He shouldn't be physically imposing because, you know, he's just a commissioner. Anyway. He's like, okay, Bayley, I'll keep you on Raw. But you're not going after the Raw Women's Championship just because you have problems with Nia Jax. She's like, okay, I didn't want that anyway. I will take on every woman you bring from SmackDown Live to Raw. So make sure you bring the best, and I will be waiting for my opponent in the ring right now. Walks off, and he's like, okay, first opponent she has back, Charlotte, the woman who she beat for the pay-per-view win streak over a year ago. In this time, since you know it's after WrestleMania 34. And she beats Charlotte, no problem. This is the new mean Bayley. Charlotte's shocked, you know, she beats up Bayley after the match because she's so mad, leading to a rematch next week. Beats her again. And Charlotte's like, okay, you're the better woman now. Gets up, stops Bayley from leaving, shakes her hand, raises her hand to the crowd, and mouths to the camera, the new face of Raw, and just leaves. And, you know, Bayley's just like, everyone's like this, or whatever her new theme song is, because I know they go like this. I'm sorry, I love Bayley's theme song for some reason. To her theme song, but whatever clap they do now for her new theme song, because, you know, she's gotten an overhaul. And, you know, she beats the other women coming from SmackDown Live, and then at Payback, she cheats to win against Nia Jax. And she wins the Raw Women's Championship she gets it back for the first time in a year. The same place she lost it is the same place she won it back. Next night, Kurt Angle goes, I'm ashamed of you, Bayley. I've seen what you've been able to do. You had Nia Jax. You could have pinned her cleanly for the win. Why did you do that? Because I wanted to. I wanted her to feel cheap and as used as I have been over these past few months. And he's like, Bayley, we all saw what you did. And I know the referee didn't see it, but I think I'm going to have to vacate your championship. And she's like, okay, go ahead, I'll just win it back. He's like, but you're vacated, you don't get a rematch. Yeah, I will. No, you won't. Yeah, I'll beat Nia Jax and she debuted a new submission at WrestleMania. He's like, I'll put Nia Jax in that submission hold. I don't know what the name of it would be. Until she says I get a rematch. It's like, Bayley, I'm ejecting you from the arena. And she's like, okay, I'll see how well that goes. And just gives him the title, leaves. Nia Jax is in the ring next, walking to her match. Like, you know how they have, like, the side-by-side, they're both walking in backstage going like, yeah, I'm gonna beat this person, yeah. I hate when they do that. They're just walking like this. Anyway, so Bayley just attacks Nia Jax, puts her in the submission hold. The side-by-side goes into a full thing where the cameraman's watching Nia Jax, and she's like, give me the title match! And she's like, no! Kurt Angle puts Bayley in an ankle lock until she lets go. Lets Bayley up. Nia Jax runs away. Bayley to belly on Kurt Angle, puts Kurt Angle in the submission hold. Give me the title match! There's no one who's gonna save you! Give me the title! And the referees are just running like, no, Bayley, stop! Bayley, stop! Because you know how referees are wusses. Anyway, so give me that. He's like, I give you anything you want! I'll give you anything you want! I don't know what her submission is. I just treated it like the bank statement. And she's like, good. And then, says the B word. I don't know who watches my videos, I just want to make sure I don't cuss. Anyway, calls him the B word, spits in his face, and just walks away. So the match is set. Extreme Rules, Nia Jax versus Bayley. No holds barred. Bayley can do whatever she has to do since he said, I'll give you anything you want. And Bayley beats Nia Jax to become a 3-time Raw Women's Champion, wins the rematch at Great Balls of Fire. I hope that's not the pay-per-view next year again. Great American Bash. Let's just say Great American Bash. And, you know, faces whoever at SummerSlam. I don't know. Oh well. That's how you fix Bayley. Just make her a total wrecking machine. Size won't matter when it comes to Bayley, because she'll just wreck every single woman on the roster. I hope you liked my video.